Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining again. This is where we recap all the news you may have missed over the week, and we try to summarize it all and highlight things you probably did miss as well, and the meaning for it as well for markets in general and the outlook ahead. So happy Saturday, and thank you to the mods in the chat too. K8 and T&D Tesla, both here twice on a Saturday. Amazing. Crypto market cap is now 2.33 trillion. It was $1 trillion not too long ago. It's up huge. Volume, $105 billion. Monstrous. 2 weeks ago it was 60. It's nearly doubled. Price of Bitcoin, 62K. Just shy of that right now. Dominance, 52. Ethereum, just shy of 3,500. Fear and greed is at 80. Up one from Tuesday, was 79. Extreme greed. People are going nuts out there. And people are very happy too. Extremely happy. Let's break it all down. And now this is financial advice as well. And we may have, crypto meme. Love Patreon. Thank you so much, everybody. Patreon has become extremely active lately because everybody's very happy. Anyway, let's talk about, skip the story. Let's just jump straight into the numbers. So over the last week, divided by Bitcoin, obviously Bitcoin's flat. Solana beat it by 6%. Cardano beat it. Binance down 10%. ETH down 4% against Bitcoin, and some of the weird stuff happening as well this week. You'll see the dark green for the meme coins, Doge, Sheep, and BCH. I call BCH a meme coin because it's fake Bitcoin, and people still buy it mistakenly. We have many people in the community. Literally, they come in and say, "Hey, I've got BCH. It's great," and I'm there. No, it's actually not. So with the FOMO of people coming in and they say, "Oh, get one Bitcoin," or if they go and buy the wrong thing. Always the case. So be careful, everybody. Always get the real McCoy, as they say. Now, what a bonkers week in terms of dollar terms. Bitcoin up 22%. Thanks, Skyboy. And Moto. ETH, 17%. Solana, 26%. Cardano, 17%. Really, really good numbers across the board. A lot of green, except for some of the things that are just have bad tokenomics. We won't talk about those things as well. We also had a historic moment in Bitcoin. I covered this in my Bitcoin only videos, which people like. We had the biggest monthly candle ever. That's that big, long green thing on the right. It smoked other historic records. And that's quite special. Especially so early in the cycle. We haven't even gotten to the halving. There will be, again, the so-called God candle. People ask, what's a God candle? Well, that's when it breaks $10,000 in a day. We've had, I think, 2 $4,000 candles and a whole bunch, at least 3 $3,000 candles so far this year. It's been insane. Really, really strong. And therefore, the memes are coming out. This is going to be a little bit of a meme video, but it's kind of funny. Every Bitcoiner on Earth right now is very happy because 97% of you are in profit. Actually, very few, probably 99% to be honest, but on-chain says 97%. Anyway, and then the crazy thing as well, just this week, you blink your eyes, again, in the meme world, it goes from 51K to 62K. And can you imagine being short this asset? Talk about jumping in front of a freight train. Not something you want to do. Now, Dan Tapiero came out today and he's talking about the Bitcoin path to $1 million, $900,000. I did a Bitcoin only video. Was it yesterday or Thursday? I don't remember. But I mapped out the plan as to how Bitcoin gets to $1 million based on history. And when you break it down logically, step by step, it's interesting. Now there's a whole bunch of crazy talk of Bitcoin going to $1 million. I just did a theoretical model, which I'll show you in a second again in case you missed it. But again, Dan Tapiero believes Bitcoin is primed to hit $900,000, according to a very contentious model. Again, another view of doing it as well, not using a contentious model called stock to flow. You can just break it down. So this was part of my why Bitcoin could hit $1 million. Again, just taking the history. If you look at the gainers, the multiples from previous cycles, 480, 550, 122, and then 16 last cycle. But 16 last cycle was a manipulated cycle. This time it's not. And there's the ETFs, and that changes the game for everything. So could Bitcoin go up 16x? And if it does, it goes to $1,024. That's just if history repeats, everybody. Again, if history repeats, I'm not saying it's going to do it, but there is something very special happening. Over the last week, spot the mismatch here, ladies and gentlemen. Bitcoin's purchased by the ETFs, even after 2 monstrous dumpage days of over $1 billion by GBTC on Thursday and Friday. The ETF still purchased 30,029 Bitcoin, and only 6,000 were produced by miners. Okay, we got 5x being sucked into just 9 ETFs in a week. 5x the actual issuance. And that is going to 3,000 in 46 days. It's going to be incredible. And as I covered in this morning's video, more are coming. More ETFs, more allocations. Morgan Stanley's coming in. 22 Hong Kong ETFs, which represent China, are coming in. It is going to be insane. And people say, your excitement is contagious. Well, I hope it is, because these numbers are very exciting. So, sorry about that. And somebody said, this guy's normally very conservative and measured, but if he's this excited, it must mean something is very different. And it is. So I forget who said that. Anyway, let's look at some crypto news as well. Top 50 movers over the last week. The top chart is the last 7 days. The bottom chart is the last 30 days. Meme, coin, time, Sheeb, Doge, Bitcoin Cash, all winners for the week, especially Shiba Inu, which is complete silliness. But anyway, the market is crazy. You got this weird euphoria. People are going straight to memes, which will ultimately maybe not do well for you. I don't know. But and then on the losers for the week are Sui, Celestia, and Uniswap. Sui, I think, is a big unlock that I covered a few times as well. For the month, excuse me, for the month, Shiba Inu, the graph, and Uniswap, top 3. And the bottom, Sui, Celestia, and XMR. Monero has had a very, very bad week indeed. Let's look at L1, L2s compared, including Bitcoin, and see exactly what's going on. So, stunning number here. Over the last 12 months, Solana's now up 1,200%. Well done to everybody who bought that dip. Again, the key to markets, like you talk about, I just want to step out for a second. People, 97% of people who bought Bitcoin wallet addresses are profitable. Okay? There might be somebody out there that bought the top of Solana and they're still upset. But if that happens, it's very, very important, if you still have a good commitment to an asset, to layer in, DCA in, and buy bottoms when you can, because that can be very life-changing. I did cover last weekend sunk cost fallacy, but there's the opposite of that, is buying at the top and not buying again, which can also be a bit of a problem. Anyhow, back to data. For the week, you can see Solana's up 31.7% for the month. For the month, 31.7%. For the week, 23.6%. Bitcoin also for the month, 44%. And for the week, 20%. So great week and month for those two assets. Also, TVL blew up the most on Bitcoin because a lot of layer 2 action as well happening on Bitcoin. And TVL is up also 44%. Almost the same as, 46% on TVL, sorry. 44% gainers for the week. Nearly the same. And then we have TVL growth for Solana, 26% as well. And fees, Optimism racks up 232% gain in fees. So good stuff there all across the board. Now, Dencun needed badly. Speaking of Ethereum and layer 2s, etc., it couldn't come soon enough. This is super, super interesting. Ethereum gas fees. You see all these memes flying around Twitter about people paying $400 and $100 to do a swap or buy an NFT during peak times, and it's killing people. It's killing people so much. So this upgrade is needed very badly. Will it solve everything? We'll see. Batman, thank you so much for coming. But another person, this is Pop Punk. He said $400 dollars to migrate 0.1 ETH to Blast mainnet. It's so over. And literally, the amount of layer 2s coming out is just insane. Okay, so imagine you have a chain that doesn't work. but you just keep layering on complexity and complexity and complexity to solve the problem. It's not going to solve the fundamental problem, okay? And the value capture can't be there as well for so many layer 2s. It's shocking. That's why names like Matic are suffering. Anyway, switching gears, talking about another layer 1 for a second, and a shout out to Mert. I'd love to have him on the channel to explain this to the audience, but Helios have come out with a thing called turbine block propagation on Solana, and they've been very excited about this all week, but it was under wraps, and it's kind of hard to understand what this is all about, because it's very, very technical. I will try and explain it a little bit from all the stuff I've read, but it's a block propagation protocol that enhances scalability of what is already the fastest chain and speed of it. Not only just scalability, but also speed. And it achieves this by breaking the data into smaller pieces called shreds, not shards, which is the Ethereum word. It's called shreds, and distributing them efficiently among the network nodes. In simple terms, I think it works like a high-speed train or a high-speed delivery mechanism, delivering data to the network in a very fast and organized manner. And it also ensures that the data is divided into manageable chunks, so it's not bandwidth constrained, and sent to specific nodes, which can then relay to other nodes. And this process is repeated until all nodes have received the data. And the efficiency lies in the fact of its structured approach to data distribution. Instead of sending an entire block to all nodes sequentially or in a flooded manner, it follows a hierarchy of nodes where even if one is missing, it can be caught up later and still the transaction can happen. And this reduces the communication overhead and the load on individual nodes. So it's extremely positive around the issue of DA, data availability, and it can reconstruct an entire block even if some shreds are lost or not received. And this makes the network more resilient, more scalable, faster, and more secure. So this will be super exciting. And this is before Firedancer comes. Okay, so you got tape on the wings on another chain. You got these guys getting quicker and faster all the time. And the best stuff is being built on it too. So I still remain very bullish on Solana, despite the 4,000 layer 2s that are hitting the market every day. And another bad omen for ETH, Jim Cramer said, if there was an Ethereum ETF, I'd probably buy it. And Radar said, sorry, ETH dudes, it's over. Because he is the best, most reliable contra integrator on the world, in the world, on the planet, whatever you want to say. Bah, these days are long. Anyway, speaking of Solana again, stablecoin volume. 43% of all stablecoin volume is now transacted on Solana, which is big. Next biggest one is 26%, and that's Ethereum. That's the gray block there. The green is Solana. In fact, January was a lot bigger than Feb. And again, black hole is happening, and this is just stablecoins. But when it comes to making a transaction that costs $100 or $400, people just can't afford that. It prevents a lot of adoption. Now, this was a crazy week for meme coins. I don't even want to talk about some of the returns, but here, I mean, let's look at year to date. This thing called Dog Whiff Hat, 700%. There's another thing called Mega down the bottom, which is also massive. I mean, all these things, you could throw money at any meme coin and literally make money. It's crazy. Anyway, not something I really dig into at all. Although I do own a couple of things that have been airdropped through Saga phones and such, like Bonk, which was very surprising actually, looking at my Saga phone balance on the Solana wallet. It's like way more than $2,000 now, and I have no idea how or why. Solar Bitcoin Coffee, thank you so much. It's just, you buy a phone for $599 and it has $2,500 worth on it. You've done nothing. It's kind of bizarre. No wonder the new ones are sold out. Anyway, stocks this week, switching gears. You can see here kind of a mixed week, but a lot of anti-woke kickback for Google, Apple down, United Healthcare down, but the other big tech names are up. In fact, at last, Tesla had a big week, a 6% week. Nvidia up another 4.5%. Microsoft up 1%, etc. Meta up 3.77%. So overall, a lot of people say this market's frothy, but this market is driven by one big name. When you break down the S&P 500, nearly all the returns come from this puppy, Nvidia. Like literally now it's real-time quote, $826.57. It was very close to 500 at the beginning of the year. It just keeps on going up. But it's not that it keeps on going up, but the latest news is a partnership with Meta on an AI deal, which is great. And the whole team at Nvidia are really doing a lot of partnering. They're partnering with everybody from the Mercedes-Benzes of the world for self-driving to AI for Nvidia, and you name it. They're doing work with robots and Figure, and they're just investing everywhere. And they got all the money to do that. But what's really interesting is Saudi Aramco used to be the biggest company in the world. Then Apple beat it. Then Microsoft beat it. Then Microsoft beat Apple. And now Nvidia just leapfrogged Saudi Aramco. And you may remember Elon Musk said probably 5 or 6 months ago, if I recall correctly, that the combined Tesla market cap will be bigger than both Saudi Aramco and Apple. That shows you what was top of the charts back then. Not one, but two. The combined market cap will be bigger, going to $8 to $10 trillion. Is that possible? I do believe it is possible, but right now it's not happening as we speak. But just to see the change in this charts, so that narrative needs to change from Saudi Aramco and Apple to maybe Nvidia and Microsoft, because they are the two big players. And we'll see. Let me see, 2.056 trillion versus 2.7 for Apple. We'll see when that happens. But the growth in Apple has been very, very slow, which is not good. Another crazy name that is melting faces. And mea culpa, everybody. I tend to sandbag my price targets. I had a 2025 price target in my retire on model for MicroStrategy. $1,200 in 2025 was my price target. We're at $1,120 right now. So we're nearly at that price target. And people are saying, can you update the new retire on models? I'm doing that, but I'm working on new price models and everything is going up. So my sandbag predictions are now elevated, which is good news for those of you who are building bags, because now you need less. But also, if you're building a bag today, it's really expensive, especially when this thing was $190, $160, I don't know, 430 days ago, and now it's up 730%. It's incredible. Far, far, far outperforming Bitcoin. And people can't understand why, but it's simple. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. They issue shares. They issue debt. They buy more Bitcoin. Bitcoin goes up in value. They issue more shares. Goes up in value. They issue more shares. Buy more Bitcoin. Goes up in value. Etc., etc., etc. This is what makes it so powerful. Few understood it and it got a lot of hate and everything else. Anyway, my models work. They are sandbagged. Like I smoked my CleanSpark target, etc. as well. But we will be upgrading all of those targets too. And that'll be coming hopefully when I get it all done in the next week or so. Stay tuned for that. Also, this is somebody said in Patreon this morning, exhibit number whatever as to why we Bitcoin. I've been saying that for years. This is US debt, all right? It is, as I mentioned earlier this morning in another video, we're going up now $1 trillion per Bank of America every 100 days. And you can see the debt is just going vertical. And the government is wonderful. They took off the debt limits and now they can spend whatever they want. It's incredible. It's actually, these two charts look kind of similar now that I think about it. MicroStrategy, Nvidia, US debt, they're all going up. Remember, the more debt there is, the more debasement there is, the less value your currency has, despite what people believe. And another bad news too, the US government has to pay a lot of interest on this debt, which far exceeds the defense budget, which used to be the biggest line item for the country. But now credit card delinquencies are also continuing upwards. Now, what's bad about this? This is from Joe Consorti. This is small bank credit card delinquencies, not the top JP Morgan Chase money center banks. This is kind of smaller banks. And the credit card delinquencies are now at an all-time high of 7.8%. So the small banks, this is what people have to understand, they're being hammered from all sides right now. We see that with the NYCB and other regionals. They hold the commercial real estate bag. They are getting toasted, not only on commercial real estate, where trillions have to be refinanced at the end of this year, and they won't be able to afford the refinancing unless the rates come down fast. But the other fragile sector that has caused massive losses for banks, not only holding their mortgages and mortgage bonds, but also credit cards, now have the highest delinquency rates ever, nearly 8%. People are kind of throwing in the towel saying, well, if the US government can put it all on the credit card, why can't I? Why not? Just go for it, you know? It's crazy. And in addition, a little bit of macro news. Manufacturing ISM index has been down for 16 straight months in what they call contraction. And this is the longest downward streak since the year 2000, 2001, after the dot-com bust. Not good. But apparently, we're not in a recession. It's a soft landing. But when you look at manufacturing, they're getting completely smoked. We'll see. And final piece of news as well. Banks are nice sometimes. Not always against central banks and banks. But in Zurich, Switzerland, officials in one of the richest cities in the world are scrambling to claw back funds after a big banking glitch that gave tens of thousands of employees a massive payday. That is, Zurich City employees received double their Feb salary after a software hiccup that caused enormous transfer of about 175 million Swiss francs. It's about $200 million per Bloomberg. It'd be nice. You know, you got a weekend planned and you go check your bank account. It's like, double payday, yay. You go spend it all and then find out it's going to be clawed back the next week. Anyway, sometimes they're nice. Jimmy, thank you for coming. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like this type of content. No frill, no shill. I won't waste your time, but I will share lots of alpha that you will learn something new in every single video. So thank you all for coming. Thank you to the mods in the chat. Thank you for, oh, Jimmy, you're there twice. You're amazing. Thank you so much. And of course, Solar, Bitcoin, and Coffee, you rock. And Daniel Prabhakar in India. It's nearly 1:30 your time. You need to be sleeping in the morning, that is, in India. So thank you all for coming, and let's celebrate their third super on live stream as well. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming. It really means a lot to me. And I'll see you all tomorrow. Monster Q&A, really interesting questions that go to the heart of what you're all thinking about is what I go to work on right now. So I'll see you all tomorrow at noon Pacific, exactly 23 hours from now. Okay? Thanks all. Bye-bye.